Hey friends, it's Amanda from Designs by Amanda K, and I'm back with another lettering tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do the galaxy blending with Tombow brush pens. So the supplies we'll need to get started are a sheet of paper, and I recommend using this marker paper from Canson. It is 100-pound paper, so it's very thick. So it's not just their typical marker paper, which can be really thin. This is their marker paper for lettering, and it holds up really well to blending with water, which is why I recommend it. You'll also need these Tombow pens, and I'm using the colors 665, 452, and N25. I'm also using an N95 for the base layer. Okay, then you'll also need a paintbrush, or you can use a water brush. I'm using a size 2 round paintbrush here. You'll also need a white gel pen. I'm using a jelly roll. You can also use a Signo gel pen. And then you'll need a glass of water, as well as a paper towel to blot off any extra ink. Okay, let's get started. The first thing you'll want to do is take the gray N95 Tombow pen and write out the word that you're going to do the galaxy blending on. So I'm going to be real original and write the word galaxy. And the reason you want to do a base layer or a base lettering is so that way you have a guide to go back in and fill in the colors that you're going to be using to blend together. Otherwise, at least for me, it can be kind of a mess if you don't have a base to go by or a template to work with. Okay, and so after you have your template down, you're going to add in some of these colors. So we'll start with the 665 first. So this is a pinkish purple color that blends really well. When it blends with the blue and it blends with the almost black, it creates these different hues of purple, which work really well in a galaxy theme. So I'm just going in and I'm adding a little bit of color in random spots with this purple. It doesn't have to be methodical. It's completely random, but you don't want to go in and fill your colors in too close together. So finish adding in all of this pink, and then I'll show you what I mean when I add in the blue. Okay, so now that we've got all the purpley pink in, let's add in some of this blue. So you can see that I'm leaving a little bit of a gap between the blue and the pink or purple. And that's so when I start blending with the water, that the colors have a little bit, they can fade out a little bit so they don't get super muddy when they blend together. Now, if you don't leave a gap, it works, it still works. You'll just need to be a little bit more careful with how much water you're adding and how much blending you're doing. So we'll go ahead and finish up adding this blue in, and then we'll add in our last color. Okay, so the last color is almost black. It's not quite black. I think it's called Lamp Black from Tombow, but it's an N25. So I'm just going to go in and add a few spots of that. I don't want to add too much because it can be a little overpowering, but in any good galaxy coloring, you do want to have a little bit of black or darker color in there. Okay, so we've got all of our colors ready, and now we are ready to blend them together to get the galaxy look. So I am using just a paintbrush and a little bit of clean water that I've got in a mason jar. The brush I'm using is actually a Winsor Newton Cotman brush. It's a size 2. You could also use a water brush so you don't have to keep dipping your brush into the water each time. But basically what I'm doing is I'm starting with one color and I'm getting it completely saturated with water. I'm not adding a ton of water, but enough to start moving the ink colors around. And you can see when it runs into the other color, like when it ran into the black up there, it started to pull some of that black into it. And then down here, I'm actually taking my brush and I'm pushing the blue up into the pink to create that nice purple color. Then, so that I don't lose all of the blue, I wiped off my brush and then started blending the blue up into the black. So it's important between colors so that you don't lose one color into the other, to kind of wipe off your brush a little bit, wipe off the excess ink before moving on to the next color. So let's zoom in a little bit here and I can show you up close what this looks like. There really is no right or wrong way to blend these colors together. You just want to be sure that you can still tell the difference between the colors. I don't want to take this black and just, you know, mix it in all the way down, or else I'm going to lose all the definition of these colors. But you also don't want to leave it so that it's really splotchy. You want to just smoothly blend these colors in together. You'll also notice that I'm not using a ton of water here. I'll dip my brush into the water and then I'll just barely touch it onto the paper towel to wick off any of the excess water, because you don't want a ton of water moving around on the ink, because that can really create blotches. Like right here, I actually have a little too much water. So to take care of that, I'll wipe my brush off and then I'll just kind of move that water down a little bit to really blend the colors together. Okay, so I'm going to speed up the video a little bit and just go through all of this blending here. So when you're all finished and some of these spots have dried and you go back and you see maybe some lines in the blends, like on this A, I've got several little spots here where there's a line. Even on this L here, you can smooth those back out with just a little bit of water and just kind of feather the edge or feather the brush right over the edge there. It doesn't take much water at all. Really, your brush just needs to be damp and just feather the brush over it, and that'll kind of smooth out those lines a little bit. So now all of our colors are blended together, so we're going to go back in with our white gel pen and we're going to add in some stars. So there's no rhyme or reason, no right way to do this. I will just take my jelly roll pen and go back in and just make some random stars, dots, what have you. Now that that's done, I'm going to add in a shadow with the same Tombow that we did the base color in, the N95. When it comes to adding a shadow to your layers, you really want to think about which direction you want the shadow to go. So which direction is your light source coming from? So my light source is actually coming from this top corner, this top left corner. So if you think about, the sun is shining on these letters. So where's the shadow going to be? Well, it's going to be on the opposite side that the sun is shining on. So all of the shadows are going to be on the right edge of the letters, and then slightly on the bottom as well. So we're just going to go through and add that in. Okay, so now we're done. We just sit back and admire all the hard work we just put in, creating these beautiful galaxy look letters. If you like this video, make sure that you give me a thumbs up, and also hit the subscribe button as well as the little bell, so that way you're notified whenever I post a new video tutorial. So that's it for this video. I'll see you next time.